Tony Khan interview. Did this interview with Tony Khan last Tuesday. It aired Wednesday night. It was for the YouTube channel. You can check it out. I look, whatever I'm going to say here is going to piss off the AEW supermarks. But I'll just say this. One of the most frustrating and, to a degree, not so fun interviews of my career. Because, as you may have seen, he didn't want to answer anything. Now, look, like, you're going to come on and promote X, Y, and Z. Great. And I'll play that dance with you. And I did at the beginning. But you got to give us something. To not even tell me, like, how you were feeling. I'm not asking for specifics on, all right, fine, I asked, is Punk going to wrestle for you? Is he coming back? You don't want to get into it? Fine. But just tell me how you were feeling. Give me something. MJF contract. Hey, I don't do business in the public, but I'll tell you, love having him on board. Look forward to many years together. But give me something. Don't just say, not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it. Doesn't serve me. Doesn't serve me. That's not the way you do it. If you want to be the voice, if you want to be the face, there's a way to do that dance. Look at Eddie. Look at Dana back in the day. Look at some of the great promoters over the last 30 years. There's a way of giving us the answer, even though it's not the answer I want, but you're giving us some sort of answer, something to chew on, as opposed to just shutting it all down. Not very enjoyable. And if I'm being honest, like, right off the bat, I was like, oh, I think you didn't like me back in the day, because he turned down multiple interviews with me. And then we get right into the MJF thing and, like, really deep into the weeds on the PR stuff. And I was like, golly, this is how we're starting? All right. I just, took a shot at BT, the ITV stuff, should have went back at him and reminded him 2 minutes ago that he, was fawning over Warner Brothers Discovery about being the greatest place for AEW. Meanwhile, BT is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, and yet he's telling me that ITV is a better place than BT. Like, just these things that were, discrepancy. Says he never met Nick Khan, then he says he talked to him on the phone. I was like, what are we doing here? Well, what is this? And you're not going to give me one legit answer? I appreciated meeting him. I enjoy it, but, like, the enjoyment of getting to talk to the guy who founded this great property that has done a lot of great things in 3 years fizzled out rather quickly when I realized the only answers he's going to give me are these long drawn out answers, promoting all this stuff and going on these tangents about Chris Jericho and this and that, when, we got a tight window. And I kept mentioning the tight window because they told me there was a tight window, and I can't get to any of the stuff. And then when I get to the stuff, you don't want to answer any of them. You don't want to answer a single one. Not even a single one. I won't get into this. I won't get it. MJF, the Punk stuff, the Young Bucks stuff. Asked him about Bray Wyatt. Asked him about, what else did I ask him about? MJF, Punk, Young Bucks. There was another one that I asked him about later on. Oh, Cody Rhodes. Wouldn't even say, like, how did you feel seeing him there? I'm not going to get into that. That's not going to serve me. Like, man, I'm not asking you for the financial breakdown. I'm just asking for your feelings. Yeah, it was tough. We had been through the wars together. We went in the trenches together. I'm happy for him. We're in a good spot. Maybe we'll do business in the future. I wish him the best, but I'm focused on our roster right now. Something. Give me something, for goodness sakes. My feeling on that interview, in short, was, this is me just shooting right here. I feel like Tony Khan doesn't trust me. I feel like he doesn't really like me. And I feel like he came in there with his guard super up and didn't want to give me any sort of morsel, because he thought that if he opened the door a little bit, I would walk in and ask X, Y, and Z. And I tried to tell his people, like, yo, I have no allegiances to anyone. So I work for the British broadcaster of WWE. So what? When I worked for ESPN, I had Bellator guys and one guy's on, and whatever guy, Cage Warriors guy. That's, what do you think I'm going to do? You think I'm going to come at him and hit him over the head with a steel chair? Like, what are we talking about here? So, I don't know. Didn't really enjoy it. Frustrating. Felt like he wasn't giving us anything. And then I felt like there were so many discrepancies. And watch this be cut up, and watch all the marks. My favorite thing about the crazy marks are, they'll be like, oh, this is coming from, a guy who Nick Khan was his former agent. Every single time I talk about wrestling, I mention that, including in that interview, I mentioned it to him. And they love it. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. Enjoy. Have fun. AEW in Toronto tonight. It's going to be great. My one regret was not asking about the 9,000 titles. Way too many titles in AEW. But here's the thing. If you are saying right now with a straight face that the AEW product is better than the WWE product, you're just a liar. You're just an absolute liar. There's no if, ands, or buts. The WWE product is infinitely better, infinitely more interesting, and there's a freaking brawl happening backstage each and every week, it seems. Meanwhile, it's all kumbaya on the Stamford side of things. Like, if you're going to be a super fan, be a super fan, but also tell it like it is. 6 months ago wasn't the case. A year ago when Punk came back wasn't the case. When Bryan signed, when Moxie came, all that stuff wasn't the case. But right this second, if you're going to sit here and say that it's a better product, you're an absolute liar. Adriano. Hi, Ariel. With the announcement of UFC